If I recall, the Solar Scarabs are definitely the weakest roster there, but I still
I
like them.
don't know about that. Oh, okay, we're already getting into it. Hell yeah.
Wait, why? What's the roster? I don't remember it exactly, so I might be wrong.
Oh, damn.
But like I think just sizing him
Ravio.
up, Hex Mondo
I had to
was
carry against that man in that damn tourney.
Scarabs?
oh scare. Yeah.
Yeah, the Ferrymen are absolutely one of my favorite Smite roster constructions of all time. I'm gonna
They're pretty good.
be honest with that.
My vote's for the Scarabs. I think they'll take it.
Is it actually?
100%.
Holy shit, we're starting off crazy. You're going
Yeah,
Scarabs?
we
No.
starting out with a hot take that could have been proven a volcano.
Nobody's ever voted against Paul at Worlds. I'm gonna be the first. He can't keep doing it. A team's gonna catch on eventually, and I think it's gonna be the Scarabs.
Holy
Look,
shit.
dog. I got a better chance of a three-way between me, Anthony, and Kira Knightley this evening. Ain't no way.
I mean, you're 2 out of 3 on that one.
That is like the absolute craziest take that this could have started with.
Yeah, I was about to say. I assume you know my pick for that, Anthony.
I absolutely do. Hang on, I love Legends Never Die, but that doesn't really fit the vibe of what I'm going for right now. That is, oh, dude. Dr.
Jesus.
Killjoy, I want you to know, said no shot.
Fish, put the crack pipe down, brother.
No
Put it
shot.
down.
Okay, I absolutely.
I'm a pretty smart guy.
So-
I can see it happen.
So now we got to come up with a score. I absolutely think this is the series.
Are
where
these
we,
best of fives?
So quarterfinals is best of 3, and then semis and finals are
3-0.
best of 5. I
Fucking
think
2-0.
I think it could be a 2-1. That's the most I'll give to Scarabs because I think Deathwalker
Oh.
could absolutely show up and play absolutely fucking lights out, and there could be a game where it's like, whoa, the Ferryman got caught off guard, and that's like one of the craziest moments of the entire world. I could see that happening, but
I'm really tempted.
I don't know.
Like I was gonna say, I'm really tempted to say 2-0 in the Scarabs, but I'll capitulate a little bit and I'll just say 2-1 for the
Okay.
Scarabs.
Okay,
Yeah, I'd say 2-1, 2-0 Ferryman.
so that
I just do not see the
So I
Solar
think the
Scarabs
tiebreaker there
roster
is 2-1
overcoming the
right?
Ferryman.
yeah, so that'd be a tiebreaker for 2-1.
It's just like objectively not gonna happen. Okay, so Jade Dragon's roster: Nika, Lasbra, Dardes, PBM, and Vaporish Coast. And then Ravens is Haddix, Scream, Venenu, Hurrywind, and Zapman.
I will say I'm looking forward to this one a lot because I think I feel like the Dragons hinge a lot on Vape Coast more than people actually kind of like are willing to accept. But I don't know if there's a world where I could see the Dragons beating the Ravens, especially because the Ravens just had like such a strong showing through SCC, even though they got easier matchups. I'm willing to hear, though, an argument that, like, Lasbra Nika is just too much for the Ravens to deal with.
Okay.
I'm kind of here for that.
So,
2-0 Ravens.
on the contention that Lasbra shows up in good form, I'll take Ravens 2-1 over the Dragons.
I would, I can get behind, because here's my hold up on the Ravens, because I think that Scream clears. I think I kind of think Hurry clears. I don't know, dude. I'm a little nervous on Ven. I feel like there's been some moments this season where Venenu was like, "What's going on?" You know?
See, but I mean, playoffs is a time for players to clean up. Him, Zapman, and Scream on the same roster is just one that I'm not betting against.
Yeah.
Like they're absolutely gonna clean up there. Plus, I don't know, Dardes is just not personally.
I mean,
impressing too much.
Venenu's the wild card for me there. Like in previous tournaments in previous years, like you get one of two Venenus. You either get a guy that is completely on form and is just frying, or you get a dude that looks like he's wondering what the fuck he's doing there.
So I know we've got Fisher.
And
we've got Zetan, correct? You are going with Ravens?
yeah, I think the Ravens pull that out.
I am also saying Ravens, but I am kind of just putting out into the world that if Vape Coast has like an all-timer performance, and the Dragons pull out like an insane upset, I will be on the crew of like, I'm not surprised in the slightest. And I would feel like very proud that I said that.
The Dragons are the higher seed, I believe. So I wouldn't call it an upset.
Yeah, that's true. I would call it an upset on kind of like. No, yeah, you're right. You're right. Lasbra is a big contingency point too. That's kind of.
Yeah,
I guess that's kind of the
absolutely.
problem with the Dragons, right? It feels like there's too many like what ifs on the Dragons. Where with the Ravens, there's like so much like you know what to expect on the big stage. And we're saying 2-1 for this, correct? I'm guessing.
My vote's 2-0, but I'm fine with the 2-1.
Z, you're gonna be the breaker on this.
Yeah. I would go. I would. Oh, this is tough, because like if Lazarus shows up for the Dragons, they.
That's kind of that's what I'm trying to say.
I think Scream is the better jungle.
Like if we get into the game and game 1,
solo.
Vape Coast and Lasbra go fucking crazy and the Dragons take game 1 and it's like holy shit, can the Ravens come back? But then they just win 2 games like it's nothing. I wouldn't be shocked by that.
Yeah, no, I'll go 2-1 Ravens. I have a little more faith in their roster.
I would just like to say, by the way, that setting up the bracket for me to be able to customize it like this took me forever. I just want that to be in the world because I'm proud of it.
You're doing great, sweetie.
It was very difficult to set up this way. All right, Fisher. Now we're moving on. So give us the Leviathan's Mambo.
Atlantis Leviathans. Fine OK, Adapting, Shinto, Wrong and Panda Cat. And then Hex Mambo is Julio, Johnny, Rapio, Kha'Zix, and Spudio. Like, Mambo's a good roster, but it ain't no way they beat the Leviathans here.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. I think it's a
like,
great roster.
Maybe take a game
I
off.
think it might be an insane roster like next season. But this Leviathans team is fucking so crazy. Adapting, I feel like has looked better and better this season has gone on. And I think Adapting is hungry to kind of just like cement that like that almost like it's different, but almost kind of the vibes of like the Faker for League Worlds, where it's like, holy shit, this guy's still doing it at this level. And you have Fine OK, who is still so hungry, so he's probably going to play out of his mind. I just don't know if Hex Mambo can compete with that, realistically speaking.
All right.
So I'm going 2-0
Leviathans. Hot take of the tourney.
Oh boy.
Hot take, more like a wrong take.
All right, so on paper, there is no goddamn world that Hex Mambo should have a chance to win.
There's no way you're about to say what you're about to say. There's just no way.
However,
I think they 2-0.
I don't think they 2-0. I'll take a chance on Hex Mambo 2-1 into the Leviathans.
Oh my god. You're getting your own little column for this one. I'm not even going to lie to you. I respect you. I respect the take and the gall to say this. But you're getting your own little column here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to scroll to scores.
All right. So my reasoning for this, I can foresee a world where the Leviathans walk into this game overconfident, as a lot of super teams are known to do. I mean, you look at the names on this fucking roster: Fine OK, Adapting, Shinto, Wrong Panda Cat. These are fucking huge names. Everybody on that team has like won a Worlds. They've all been there.
This is
I
crazy.
think there's a world where they walk into this game overconfident and Mambo kicks them out.
Wow.
Because
if that comes true, I will concede that you're a fucking genius. Absolutely, but I can't.
If that Leviathan's roster was as good as we are saying it is on paper, they wouldn't be sitting at the 3rd seed.
Wow. That just happened. I had to just fill that out. Okay, I respect you. And you know what? If it happens, you're a genius, and I'll concede that fact. But like,
He said until it happens, though, you're a dipshit.
Yup.
Okay, I think Warriors Kings is another tough matchup to talk about because this one kind of hurts my feelings. I don't think there's a. I don't know. I can't really see the Kings getting through this. They were having a tough time getting through SCC teams.
Alrighty, well, I'll give you the roster.
You're asking me to bet against my boys here.
Yeah, I know. All right, go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead.
All right, Oni Warriors, Solo or Troll, Panatom, Pagon, Genetics, and Netrioid. And then the Camelot Kings, Variety, Captain Twig, BMT, Quig, and Yarkor.
I would love to see the Kings pull through and kind of figure it out, but they've just looked so different since they lost Genetics, and I feel like the Warriors, like, they had such a good early season, and then obviously we all know they fucking, like, fell apart, but I just feel like it'd be kind of immature almost, not immature, but irrational to disregard how they played early in the season.
I mean, just like looking from the Oni or Warriors standpoint, and like you said, without Genetics, this is Genetics grudge match. Like, I don't see a way the Warriors lose this one. Especially, they got like Solar Troll and Pagon, and those two are just so nuts mechanically.
Yeah, I do think this will be one of the better sets, though.
100%. Yeah, this and the Dragon set are going to be the best ones.
And I think this is a 2. I don't think there's a 2-0 in here unless
2-1.
Unless the Kings had such a bad game 1 that they fall apart mentally. I think this is a 2.
But I don't see that happening.
Yeah. All right, Ztan.
I think the Kings pull it out.
I won't call you crazy for this one. I'll definitely give you that.
I mean, besides Genetics, it is the same roster that 3-0 mollywhopped last year's Worlds. I can't count them out like that.
So this is obviously a 2-1 then, based on how we have gone through it. There's
yeah.
no need for me to put any disclaimers on this one. All right, so let me get my little icons to set us up our second semifinals here.
I don't know. This is a hard one. I really like both these rosters, but I think I'd have to like bet on experience for this one and say Levi's, like 3-2. Like the Oni Warriors team is good, but like Solar Troll's pretty new, Pagon's pretty new, and everybody on the Leviathans has been to like damn near every playoffs.
All right, Z.
I'm running calculations in my head.
Okay. What was the score you gave it, Fisher, by the way? Just really quick.
3-2.
Okay.
Definitely 5 games.
So, like, what I'm looking at here is the potential of a roster. And both of these teams have extremely high potential. That said, obviously, I expect the bracket to look a little differently. But if the bracket looks like this, I would take Oni 3-2. No, I'd take Oni 3-1.
Wow, the 3-1 kind of caught me off guard a bit. So you're taking Oni 3-1?
Is disgusting. Genetics is probably the best support in the SPL. You could make the argument several different ways, but some of the shit we've seen Genetics do at LAN is wild. I think the game hinges on SOT.
I would agree with that.
SOT pulls up and does what we saw him do, a couple of years ago on the Osiris, the man was running games. If that SOT shows up to this, I actually think the Levi's get cooked.
All right. Well, let me put our stuff in here. All right. Now for my favorite discussion. I'll let you guys go first again because I'm very excited for this discussion. The Six Ferrymen versus the Highland Ravens.
Rio Ferryman.
You know, 3-1 Ravens.
Wow. I didn't see
I'm
that
betting
coming.
on Zap and Scream to come up massive.
I think this matchup
Oh shit, I forgot they have Sino. Oh, ooh.
I think
changes
this
things.
matchup
No, you already made your prediction.
I think this matchup
Sorry.
changes, like, I think this matchup becomes one of the most, like, unexpected bangers that we've ever had at an SWC. And I think that it kind of becomes like I don't want to say like an end to a storyline, but I almost feel like it's like, holy shit, like, they got through Zapman. I just don't think I can be confident that the Ravens can make it all the way back through. That feels like they're going through, like, I don't know, I feel like they're fighting through a lot to make it that far, and I cannot comfortably say that, like, Cyclone Spin, Baskin, Sino, I'm on the Paul train, dude. Like, I just can't see Six Ferrymen not locking themselves.
Yeah, I mean
a slot.
that's my big thing there, dog. Is like you will not catch me betting against Paul at Worlds.
So for that reason,
you
but
just
like I
won't.
said, I think it's gonna be one of the best sets of all time for Smite. Like I would not be shocked if that's the case. So I'm gonna say 3-2 for Ferryman. So Fisher was 3-1 for Ravens. Z, are you changing? Or are you locking in 3-0 Ferryman?
No, I already made mine. Already made it.
Okay. I think this is a really good Worlds, honestly. I know some people are saying like this, that it's kind of like there's a really strong top 3 teams, but like I don't know. I feel like this Worlds is better when you get into the nitty gritty than some people would argue. But okay.
Well, and when you're
please
talking
talk.
about
I gotta set the next.
when you're talking about brackets like this, it's kind of similar to like a pro tennis scenario, where your top 50 to 100 tennis players could beat any of the other ones on a given day. You know, all 8 of these teams have a group of guys that are more than capable of running and winning a game. The teams are, as far as it goes comparatively to some previous years, they're pretty balanced. Granted, you've got a couple of the rosters like the Ferrymen, the Levi's, where the roster just on paper looks absurd, but any one of these teams could absolutely capitalize on mistakes made. Like, there's the potential for any one of them to win their matchup.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I think that's like the most interesting part about this Worlds is it almost feels like one of the more flexible, maybe is a good way of wording it, Worlds we've had in a long time. But I have thought that this would be the finals since really early on in the season. And one of the reasons I say that is because I think that for the Ravens, the Zapman Barracuda swap was one of the more unilateral roster changes we've seen, and I say that obviously not knowing like the truth and the takes behind like the difference in comms or whatever have you. Like, I'm not going to pretend I know that. But I think the Leviathans got better with the decisions that they made. And I feel like the addition of Pantacat to carry to adapting in Final K, we talked about like their hunger, Shinto and Rongyu. Like, I feel like that roster is so strong. But I have to say that I would be completely lying out my ass if I said I thought anything other than Styx Ferryman could win. I totally would be lying. So I'm going to go Ferryman over Leviathans. My heart says 3-1, but I'm going to say 3-2.
If the Leviathans do make it that far, I think they take a couple of games
Somebody's
off
not
them.
a believer.
But I do think the Ferrymen pull it.
How many games you feeling?
3-2.
3-2?
I feel like the Leviathans roster, if they make it past Mambo and then the Oni Warriors or the Camelot Kings, whoever, it may be, I think their roster is too damn good not to take a couple of games.
I also think this is where Paul cements what we talked about. I think this is the Paul cementing that he's the fucking GOAT and no one can dispute it game.
I mean, I'd say he's already done it, but
you get what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
Because I think he does it against adapting, and that's what
Right.
makes it even crazier of a story.
Well, I mean, not just adapting. I mean, Fino, Panda.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying, though. It's like
wrong you.
It's like sit down, King. The prince is risen. You know, like
yeah.
All right, Fisher, you're up.
Ahem. Well, y'all are gonna
surely you're
have to
the
give me a second to
believer,
explain this.
believer.
Oh yeah, 100%. Leviathan's 3-0.
What?
And now let me explain before you jump on my back. Paul has lost 2 worlds in a row now, 3-0. And if I was a betting man, he's also had a pretty similar roster for those.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
To clarify, I don't think they're making it past the first round. But I think 3-0 Leviathans. If that's the matchup. I also promise I'm not biased against the Ferryman. I know it seems like I am from this graph. I have nothing against them. But yeah, I think they get 3-0 there.
That's so funny that's how that went down.
I have to be true to myself. Still laughing at me?
It's just this like Z10 and I are talking about it being like an all-timer. Like I'm talking about the prince dethroning the king, and you come in and you say, "Adapting's getting a ring. It's 3-0. We're fucking going home."
I'm also not a Leviathans fan, but I mean,
he cooking, man. Let him cook.
It's happened twice in a row. The 3-peat, it's gonna be a bad 3-peat, but it'll be a 3-peat.
Wow. Well, I can remove the key now. Jesus Christ. There we go. We're saying 6 Ferrymen over Solar Scarabs with a score of 2-1. Obviously, a bit of a hot take. Ended up being a tiebreaker, technically speaking. We're giving it to Ferrymen 2-1 over Solar Scarabs, with Kingfisher being the lone believer. And for Jade Dragons versus the Highland Ravens, we're saying the Highland Ravens will take it 2-1. We're saying there's potential for the first game or maybe second game to kind of be a shell shock moment where we see Lasbra and Vape Coast play up significantly. So, for Atlantis Leviathans and Hex Mambo, Kingfisher and myself are saying it's going to be a 2-0, while Z-Tan, the psychopath, says it's going to be a 2-1 for Hex Mambo over the Atlantis Leviathans, which would be
been a long time since we've seen a good upset.
Then for Oni Warriors versus Camelot Kings, Kingfisher and I are going for Oni Warriors. Zetan is going for Camelot Kings. So we settled on a score of 2-1. That means for semifinals, it's Styx Ferryman versus the Highland Ravens and Atlantis Leviathans versus the Oni Warriors. For Leviathans versus the Warriors, we are split with Zetan going Oni Warriors 3-1, while Fisher and I say Leviathans 3-2 and 3-1. I'm the 3-1, Fisher's the 3-2. Where Ferryman Ravens, we still could not agree. Zetan says Ferryman are 3-0ing. I say it's going to be an all-time smite set and be a 3-2, where the Ferryman move on, and Kingfisher says the Ravens will take it 3-1. Then for the finals, we've agreed upon one way or another that the Ferryman and Leviathans will be in the finals. And for me, I say the Ferryman are going to take it 3-2. Zetan agrees with that, saying Ferryman 3-2, and Kingfisher says the Leviathans are going to take it 3-0. So that begs the question, though. I'm not going to redo the graph, but now I'm kind of curious on your guys, because obviously we disagreed for the end. What's your finals and how does it go down? Kind of like the honorable mention. Because Fisher would have the Leviathans versus the Ravens.
Yeah, and then I think I would give that one 3-2 to the Ravens. If that was the case.
And Zetan, you would have the Oni Warriors versus the Styx Ferryman.
No, if it went the way I expected,
because you'd also have Hex Mambo versus the Oni Warriors.
Oh no, I called Camelot.
Oh, you did. I'm sorry.
And I do think Camelot would beat Hex Mambo.
So you'd have Camelot in the finals versus the Ferryman.
Yeah, and I honestly, I don't think that would change my score prediction.
Okay. So that would have our champion. I may as well copy this just to make it cohesive and have an end point. Our champion would be the Styx Ferryman, moving on and taking it. By split decision, obviously, but I think that's an all-time world still. If the bracket goes the way we were talking about, but go ahead, Fish.
I was just saying I would like to point out you look like the pick me here. You're at the majority on every single matchup. What's up with that? Gotta make some bold predictions.
I do look like the pick me, but at the same...
no, you gotta throw out some wild shit, Anthony.
Well, okay. To be fair, I did. I just didn't hard commit to it. I said if the J Dragons win, I'm not shocked in the slightest, and I'm kind of like, yeah, that's kind of my hot take. If I had to pick, so that's my SPL hot take. If I had to pick an SCC team that would move on, I think it would be the Scarabs, not the Hex Mambo, and I think it would just be like a Deathwalker fucking showcase. And funny enough, I think if the Scarabs get to semifinals, if they have to face the Ravens or the Dragons, I think the Scarabs win that. But the problem is, I think it's still going to be Scarabs Leviathans in that case. I think Leviathans just get through, and I don't know if the Scarabs can beat the Leviathans, and for that matter, I don't know if they could beat the Warriors. So I think that would be the biggest change. But I'm also always play-by-play, so that's kind of why I'm a pick-me. I don't like to overcomplicate.
At least you're honest.
Okay, that's it. That's our predictions. We did it. Banger. We take a screenshot of this. And now we can kind of look at the schedule, and we can talk about that a bit, because I have the world schedule pulled up and ready. So
someone needs a Windows update.
World schedule. Yeah, leave me alone about the Windows update for real. I don't have you guys' audio in here yet. 1 second. Nobody can hear you yet. There we go. Now they can hear you. So this is the SWC Year 10 schedule. I'm starting my stuff tomorrow at 10:45. Because I want to watch the majority of the stuff on Friday, but I will not be able to see match 4 at 6:30. I don't think I'll be on that long. I mean, maybe, but that's a long day. If that's the case, just to kind of go back to our bracket, that means I would not see Warriors versus Kings I probably would watch it, but maybe probably not stream it. We'll kind of see how the day goes. I could change my mind. So probably from 10:45 until like the end of the quarterfinal match 3, and
Well,
then
I'll be here. I blew out my back again, so I ain't going nowhere.
And for Saturday, we don't have Kingfisher all day, but we have the patch notes at
Well, you
11.
do have me for most of the day.
Yeah, patch notes are at 11, so same thing, 10:45 stream. Watching both semifinals. I'm probably going to take a break during the cosplay showcase. I think cosplay's fucking awesome. I don't dislike it. It's nothing like that. I just think that's a good time for me to get food and take a break. And I'll probably have it on in the background. And then Sunday, same thing, 10:45. We're watching every fucking thing. At 2 o'clock, I am camera on, and like I want like camera reactions type beat to whatever the fuck that announcement is at 2 p.m. And then for grand finals, we'll watch the grand finals and then trophy ceremony and then call it. And I think my girlfriend will be joining us too because she'll be around and that'll be fun. But that's the plan.